Hello, my name is Ethan and welcome back to another episode of Path of Exile Harvest League 3.11. In this episode, I'm going to be going over my basically unique recommendations or like extra so what you would look for in items early with the currency you make with my league starter. So I'm going to start it off with, if you guys haven't already seen it, my last video I put out at 522 was this summon raging spirit slash skeleton summoner league starter. So the specific part about this point of league starter is it doesn't cost any currency to make it. That's what makes it a league starter. The definition of a league starter is it doesn't cost anything. It's the league start. You have nothing. You've just come into the game. It's base gems, no items. Okay, so league starter build done. Now we want to look at, you've done your league start, you have some currency, you're out of, like, let's say the campaign, you're at maps, or you've gotten some currency throughout campaign, because you're lucky, maybe you got a few chaos. No expectation of an X, okay? A few chaos here or there. Let's say you play for 10 hours, you finish your campaign, and you're into mapping, and you have a few chaos, some other scraps, but you won't have an X most likely. Most people won't. It would be lucky. So this is my leveling guide. If you want that for the starter, league starter, you can go to that, but now we're going to build upon it. So this is the actual league starter from that video. This is the POB from the video, and it's pretty cool, and it shows the 116 and the damage of 83,000, and this is with literally no damage items. This is all just life, flat life, and then flats aren't even on, and there's no jewels, no weapon. It's just base gems, and then auras and the skill tree. So what I did is I wanted to show you guys. I made a few POBs. I do this a lot. I'll leave both of them in the description below. But basically, I took what we had, which is the skill tree, as we had it, exactly as is. I removed all of the leveling skills, so you only have what you would actually be using, except for the zombie. I was just testing something, which is you can run zombie with the same exact stuff as, let's say, the raging spirit, and then you go and run a glove called Akuna's Will. This is the only way it would work, okay? Raised zombie does not require a corpse. Your raised zombie counts as a corpse, and raised zombies have 90% increased maximum life. And so you could use this to just cast zombies like their summon raging spirit or like skeletons. These are pretty cheap early on in the league, and so it's actually a viable option. I want to pull up each and every single item for each of their prices too. I'm not going to search up Akuna's Will because it's not real, and you could also technically use the Baron very early, level 26. Imagine with the extra zombies. Oh my god, it's pretty cool. And I theory crafted that you could use Montecruel's Grasp, so it halves the amount of zombies you can spawn, which you can't really spawn very many anyways because it's cast speed, spell echo, and all that. It's just that, and you can't summon more than one at a time. There's no way to increase it. So then I was like, this gives them 5,000 more life, and it gives them the explodey to make the enemies you kill with it explode for 20% of their max life as fire damage, so more free damage. I figured that's cool, but no, that's where we stop that, so don't worry about that anymore. That's why I left the zombies in for now. It was just to show that. So we have our summon raging spirit set up, and this is assuming we dropped spell echo. We don't run spell echo anymore, okay? This is with combustion now. So after getting out of the beginning, we were able to drop Spell Echo potentially because we ran Mark of the Red Covenant, which is usually a 1C item at the beginning of the league, which I'll show you right now. Alright, so here we have PoE.Ninja, and you can look at their economy, and you can search up items in here. So I searched up Mark of the Red Covenant, which is the helmet I'm going to be using. I want to show it first. When you search here, this shows the price right now and how confident it is. This is pretty confident. Level 60. And then you see here the prices of each day. So 1C, this was down to as low as 0.2C, and it's as high as 1C. Okay. If you notice, if you go all the way back, if you look here, this is June 19th, which is the day that the league started. This is day 1. Therefore, it was 1C. It dropped, so people don't use it. So it was actually a sleeper, cool, unique you can use. 0.3C. It's literally garbage. Okay, and then it's pretty good in the build. The other one is the Tavukai Coral Amulet. This one's pretty insane, okay? This is not a joke. I'll explain both of them after, but show this one off. So it was at 2.5, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, okay. And then you go back to here, 23rd. This is the 4th day, 2C. 3rd day, 3C. 2nd day, 5C. 1st day, 13C. This is disgusting. Okay, now I'll show you back in the game. So this is pretty expensive. That's why I might not do this. Okay, so if you didn't have the amulet, 273,000 goes to 180,000. Also, I might add that this shit helps with killing your summon raging spirits because they take 20% of their max life per second as chaos damage. So you might not actually have to run Infernal Legion, and you might get an extra support on your summon raging spirit like fire penetration. And then you could get 358,000 if you don't have to run Infernal Legion, for example. So that's pretty cool. Not to be obviously discredited that part of it. So then I also slipped in. So Mark of the Red Covenant specifically makes it so your summon raging spirits deal 140% increased damage. You have 75% reduced maximum number, so you can only summon 5 of them. And so you can tell that in 1 second I summoned 2.2 of them, and so in 2 seconds I have 4.4. That's why I don't run Spell Echo on them anymore, because you can only have 5, which I figured if you summon all 5 of them, that's a lot of damage. God damn. Summon Raging Spirit hits always ignite, so I checked in the config. I wanted to see what would an ignite do, and it adds a lot of damage. It adds a lot of damage. So Mark of the Red Covenant's pretty cool because the flat 140% increase, the minion move speed, and it makes you have to summon less of them, and it also gives them free melee splash of fire damage, which is, you could actually go physical, like on hit with them, like the attack version, but I like the minion instability better. And then the Tavukai Broken Amulet is the really absolutely insane. So you get 25% increased duration. It doesn't really matter. Increased damage 70% on this, 140 on the helmet, 70 on this, 90 increased life, which helps with the minion instability. So this is literally a minion instability summon raging spirit amulet. And then they also, I told you, this creates the killing themselves feature without worrying about the reses. So you could actually run, this makes it so you could actually run the res stuff like Commander of Darkness, Purity of Elements, and not worry about capping your minions accidentally, and raising how long they survive for. And like you could run Sacrifice. As long as you keep their chaos bad, you'll kill them with the item. So this is after an item investment, right? So this was my point of how I went from a league starter that was 0 items, and you earn currency from playing with your no currency build, and you can earn items and create such an huge improvement. I also put in 2+1 fire spell skill gems, so this is a opportunity when you have summon raging spirit because they're fire. So I'll show you what it is with it was 83,000 without, and now 273,000 with the helmet, amulet, and 2 wands. So day 1 this might be way too expensive, especially I put out the video, whoops. So this might not be an option day 1, and it might drop on day 2 and 3, and then you could pick it up. And then Mark of the Red Covenant, Tribal Circlet, pretty cheap, 1 seat. Should be super easy to pick up, and 140% increased damage seems insane, and you don't have to summon as many of them, or worry about cast speed or anything, which is pretty good. Okay, so you guys think that build's pretty cool. I know you guys are like, well, okay, so you've shown us how to increase our power with very little stuff, and it adds a lot of power, like tripled our damage. I have one better, guys. What? No, there's no way. Okay, here you go. What did you do? What is that? This is a mess, dude. Okay, so again, same skill tree. The difference is I added Death Attunement, and I removed some of the life, and I believe that was just to clean up the skill points, because actually I believe in the other ones I'm level 93. This is only 90. So this is a lower level as well, and it's more clean. So this is the one I'm actually recommending after everything I've put into it. So basically the same build, but what's different? We're using skeletons. No more summon Raging Spirit. And then, like I said, we don't run Spell Echo, and I dropped Infernal Legion because of the items I put in the build, so I was able to add Fire Penetration. So we have 173,000 DPS, or damage, with the Minion Instability, and that's per skeleton. How many skeletons can we summon? 4 per cast. So multiply this number by 4. 680,000. Well, 692. Or 693, 200 or something. Well, either way. Point is that more damage? With the cast rate of 2.6? Okay, so now, obviously, what the hell did I actually put in this build? Because just showing it as like, oh, it's more, look. No, I did a lot. There's a lot. Okay, so here we go. We'll have to look up each of these items, make sure that they're going to be cheap, have a whole plan coming into the new league. This is going to be crazy. Okay, so skeletons, I told you, one of the biggest differences is Death Attunement. And because we get an extra skeleton from this, Max Skelly. We get an extra Max Skelly from here. And the thing from Enduring Bond for Skeleton doesn't have it anymore. So that's a thing. Okay, so then I go into here and I showed my thing. And then I go here and I go, this is the most broken part of this start, okay? Like, this is the start of our skeleton budget build, minion instability, crushing all content. This is going to be broken. Okay, so let me show you the PoE Ninja, because you already know, gotta show you the prices. So I'll show you how I do it, actually. So I just open up economy, and then we'll search up Earendel's Embrace, and you could search here, and you could click this little graph, and you scroll down, and you can see it was 1C, 0.4, it's gone down, but either way, the most it's ever been all season is 1C, and at the beginning of the league, it was 1C, because everybody grabs every unique they get, and they make a 1C tab, and they just dump it all in, and they sell everything at 1C, and 0.9, 0.4, so people figured it out after, and it went up, but there was a dip, so there was a moment that people didn't know. So what this does, I want to go over that before the rest of the items. So this one specifically gives your minions increased damage. Your summoned skeletons cover enemies in ash, which technically you only need 1 of these. You don't even need 2. I just found that 2 was really good. Okay, so you only need 1. And then covering them in ash is this. Is the enemy covered in ash? Covered in ash applies the following to the enemy. 20% increased fire damage, 20% less move speed. 20% increased fire damage taken. That's insane. Because minion instability is fire, if you didn't know. And so, big damage. 20% increased, just for this. And then, it's Infernal Legion killing themselves for free. So summon skeletons take their 23% of their maximum life per second as fire damage. So then, like I pointed out here, you can possibly not run Infernal Legion, which makes it so you get an extra gem, which an extra gem support takes you from 134 to 173, because the Infernal Legion doesn't add any damage to the minion instability. It was just a way to make it consistent, because they take 40% of their maximum life as fire damage. Now we have these 2 items doing 23%. There's a scaling on it. I think it's like 15 to 30, and I just choose the middle of everything, average it in the middle. Everything's middle. I don't take the best or the worst. I just take the middle. And so these seem to be the most insane in the core of the skeleton version, because you get that covering the enemies in ash. It gives you an extra gem, so it gives you an extra link in your thing. This is almost like getting the aggressive minions for free from Carryhon Golem with the Primordial Might. It's pretty cool. And then them having Avatar of Fire, your summoned skeletons having Avatar of Fire is this. So they deal only fire damage. They can't deal any non-fire now. So that's pretty cool, because then when you're doing your Stormbrand curse, flammability, by the way, and elemental equilibrium, then you're increasing the damage of the fire from the basic attacks too, because now their auto attacks are even fire. Sorry. Let's go show you. So if you go here, you can see their default auto attack. It's converted to to fire, and it's actually scaled, and their auto attacks are insane. Holy shit, I didn't even know. But oh man, I made this build so good. So this is insane. This build's insane. And that's just the weapons. Okay, so then I went further. I'm like, how could I do more with this? Right? We got the weapons that replace the Infernal Legion, and it gives the enemies covered in ash and Avatar Fire and increased damage. And then I thought, okay, well, there's the boot that gives you the +1 skeleton, so that's just like a good boot to put in the build because it's so annoying. It's actually like get an extra skelly because okay, let me put it like this: we can summon 4 skellies per cast. 2.6 cast rate. Here's Professor Ethan coming out again. Here we go. Gotta get the calculator. It's pretty simple, this one. I'm sure you can already see it. But 4 times 2.6 equals. We can summon 10.4 a second. So our limit's 10. So in 1 second, we summon all 10. We need them to die fast. So that's one thing. So I still might run Infernal Legion, there's a possibility. But my point was that I wanted the extra +1 to at least get to 10, because it's very easy to get to 10 skeletons. Then I figured out that this gave me Chaos Res and increased strength. And I was like, ooh, increased strength. What did we do with an increased strength build before? And I was wondering, man. Oh, wait. Gotta show you guys the alberons. How much are they? We have to include everything in the video so it's fully complete, full, nice. Alberons. There's no way this was cheap at the beginning of the league. 1C all league. Okay, nice. Back to the thing. Okay, we got the Baron. And now you may wonder, why would this be any good, Ethan? Well, one thing is that I figured out I could socket my extra minion gems in that, maybe, right? So let's just try that. And we got a little bit of extra damage. The carry-on's better too, probably now. Let me show off the carry-on. Combo attack of 11k. It's got a cascade of 4k. Leap slam, 8k. Minion instability, 207 kappa. I'm kidding. It's mostly for the DPS buff and these things, but back to what I was doing. So the helmet, yeah, I could socket the carry-on golem in the helmet to get an extra +2, but then the main reason to do the Baron potentially is mostly I found when I was looking it up that everybody dropped the Baron completely. Nobody uses it, and so as an early league start budget, like cheap go-to, maybe like 3C, 4C, 3C, and it drops to 2, I might grab this. It's not required, but to put it simply, I had 320 strength, and this gives half of the strength to the skeletons, so they got 160 strength, which is pretty cool, actually. It's not that bad. So they got 160 strength scaling then, and then they got more life, so they actually gained damage with this. And I tested like Alberon's Baron, putting in an amulet with Astra Mantis and Brawn and efficient training and all the strength stuff. I got to like 600 and something. We don't have the pathing all the way down to utmost might, so like I don't know. And it wasn't really worth the strength scaling to get the HP that way. It didn't really feel that good, and then it would be really expensive probably to get efficient training in those items early, especially a perfect brawn and shit. And then we only got to 600, so we couldn't even get the leech, and the zombies are gonna suck. And why would we do this? And wouldn't we just be a zombie build at that point if we're gonna commit all that? And we might as well go golems. So point is, don't really need the Baron, but I figured might as well include it because it's pretty cheap. And then the bonus is 14,000 damage, which isn't like a joke. That's 8% more damage or something. It's pretty good. Pretty fucking good. And then I figured out that the sidhebreath and paw amulet like fits almost perfectly in our build in this spot because it's increased max life for the minions, it's move speed, and the cold res is fine. and the mana regen is good, and then the reduced mana cost of minion skills is great because they're gonna cost a lot and be really fucking annoying. Yeah, the stupid skeletons. I'm gonna have to cast so many, and the mana is gonna be so annoying, and I'm probably gonna need a mana flask in here. But then I figured out that I could run this jewel. So I first tested a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch here. Some of the stuff is showing off like taunt blind, right? And I was like, I don't think we really need taunt blind in our explodey big DPS build. It doesn't matter. I tested from dust to summon 4 additional skeleton warriors. We already summoned so many. I already pointed out that in 1 second we summon more than our limit, so it doesn't matter. To dust is shit. I noticed that it's 3,000 damage and it's dog shit, even for a skeleton build. Quickening Covenant doesn't add any damage to the minion instability, but could be good for the actual auto attacks of the fire skeletons. And then we have Fortress Covenant. So I ran this one, and it adds, what, 12k? Yeah, 12k DPS. And then I found something else. If you use this in a spot, so I don't think I used it very well, but yeah, I used it here. So if you use it in a spot with more notables, right, around a jewel socket, like let's say here, if we do that instead later, or here, it converts, or it adds, I think it converts them actually, so never mind. I thought it was add on top. Never mind. Point, I was going to say you could increase the damage taken, and then they kill themselves faster, so it actually works better. It's fine. It wouldn't be a bad thing. And I ran an extra jewel with corrupted blood. It cannot be inflicted, so that was the stuff I added to the build to improve it. I didn't cap the reses or the chaos, so I basically left it in a point where you have an extra jewel. You could get this jewel with corrupted blood with some of the stuff you're missing. So the stuff you're missing in this case that I would mostly look at is 100%. You would look at the dex a little bit, your fire mostly, then lightning, chaos. These are like big, and then your cold, because if you go the sidhebreath, you get the free cold res. There was a belt that I was looking at, which is called Siegebreaker. So in both builds, the Summon Raging Spirit and this skeleton thing, you could run Siegebreaker, 8% increase max energy shield, 8% increase maximum life, 20% to chaos res. So again, more chaos res on an item actually in the build. Minions have 5% chance to taunt, so the free taunt. And your minions spread caustic ground on death, dealing 20% of their maximum life as chaos damage per second. It's pretty cool. So like, I'll have all of this linked. I showed that I had the Akuna's Will, and we tried a bunch of different weapons. So I ended up on the Earandale's Embrace, and I don't think you should run a Victorio's Charity or a different shield. You could run a shield because you only need one of these, and you could keep Infernal Legion in the build if you wanted to. But I also tested Queen's Decree, and I liked it a lot, especially in the Summon Raging Spirit build, I believe. Let me go back to that. I believe that I had tested 273, 262. Yeah, a Queen's Decree is almost as good as using 2 Driftwood Wands with +1 fire, and so if just buying a Queen's Decree for 1C is easier, that's fine. And also, Femers of the Saint was also like 1C. I'll check both of them for you guys, even though it's not that big of a deal. Femers and Queen's Decree. Yeah, this was 1C, but let me check throughout the league. 1C and Queen's... I didn't look at Queen's Escape. I just looked at Queen's Decree because I thought that Queen's Escape would be too expensive because it has to do with prophecy and all this shit. So at the beginning of the league, it was 1C. I already looked at these. I was just making sure again. And I have to look up the... Oh my god, yeah, that's expensive. Covenant. So we're not going to look up the Quickening Covenant because it's bad, but Fortress Covenant at the beginning of the league was 1C, and it went up to 4, 6, 7. So if you get it very, 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 very early, and I'm a genius, GG, PogChamp. But apparently that might be hard to get. Okay, and then the sidhebreath amulet. and we can't look up the price of a corrupted blood, but basically you'll want corrupted blood when you go fight Cyrus or something. And so the sidhebreath, super cheap. Very early on was less than a C, and then it goes down, and that's good for us. PogChamp, more good stuff, because that added some decent damage. 8k is not a joke in this spot. And this damage is pretty absurd, to be honest, for what we're doing, and the fact that you summon 4 of them. You're summoning 4 of them, and we're literally spending like 10C, 5C. What is this? This is a 5 to 10C build, except for, I guess the Fortress Covenant if you wait, or the Baron is like 3C. And I pointed out that the other build, the SRS, going this with the 2+2+1 fire wands, the amulet is as expensive as the entire skeleton thing I set up. And then it's a different playstyle. It's gonna feel weird. And then there's still like potential to go technically an on-hit like attack based SRS, and then this SRS still has 3 jewel sockets too, so you could run, why not run a Fortress Covenant? Right. Why not, dude? I ran it in the other one. Genius. We figured that one out after, and you'd have to run the Corrupted Blood too, so you'd only actually have 1 extra jewel. Yeah, I could add it from the other one, just to keep it more complete, since I remembered. But I put a lot of stuff in, tested a lot of stuff. There's like tabula too and stuff, but mostly we're gonna be probably buying. Oh, I need to mention that. So the reason, what the heck? There we go. So the reason I didn't put tabula or whatever in the build is because I think that most likely what we're going to be doing is our biggest priority. I mentioned this at the end of the video. The biggest priority item in the build, the one we're going to rush most likely, is the 6-link. And so we're going to save up our currency, and then we're going to put up a trade and look up 6-links and body armors, and we're just going to be looking for that the entire time, because that's all I want to do, and it'll make it so easy to play the game once you have like a corrupted 6-link. So yeah, that's actually mentioned at the end of PogChamp. Either way, hope you guys have enjoyed the Summon Raging Spirit and Skeleton League start. This is why I've included it as a hybrid and left both in, and how you can go the different routes. See, the League starter, we could show both of them because it doesn't have any item requirements, but as soon as you start going down these rabbit holes of items and possibly skill tree differences because of death attunement and stuff, it's pretty weird. Yeah, and like I said, to even this one out to be more like the other one, you would take off some life and it would match the other one and you'd be good to go. Because then the life is similar, and then the damage is absurd of the skeletons, to where this isn't comparable, this isn't close, and skeletons are insane. And this brings us back basically to what this is, almost pre-nerf skeletons, because they nerfed the damage of skeletons, but they didn't nerf like the health. And so now we're actually just using the rest of the normal scaling of the game with Minion Instability, and we're bypassing the damage nerf, basically. That's what it feels like. So we still have the Vaal Skelly. We still have the casting 4. We've summoned 4 of them. We summoned 1 SRS. 4. And then you also, yeah, their life isn't affected from the nerfs. So I think it's GGEZ. And like I said, if you can't get some of this stuff, it's still gonna work. It's still gonna be fine. It just makes it a lot better, a lot more quality of life, because you're gonna be able to run better gems and more gems and have a better 6-link that isn't running a thing just to make the build work. At least we have a support to make the build work, and we don't need items. The fact that you can make this work with Infernal Legion and you don't need the items is really pog. Either way, this shit's goddamn insane. I forgot to mention this one last part again. So I turned on Ignite because we have tons of fire, and also covered in ash, and so I ignited them in this, and then I also covered them in ash, and I put it against Cyrus, and I -10 exposured because I chose to put element. So this is something hilarious. I did Carrion Golem in both. Actually, did I even put it in the SRS? Possibly not. I just like this the Skelly version way better. So the Skelly version, Carrion Golem, I put it in. So it adds 2.8. Okay, it's not bad, right? But then it adds Feeding Frenzy. And the Feeding Frenzy adds huge damage, right? Okay. And then we added Elemental Army, and this one was funny for me because we can cap our Carrion Golem without capping the skeletons. And then the best part about this way of the build too is we're not burning all of our minions, we're only burning our skeletons. So our Carrion Golem actually has leech, it actually has regen, it has its res. We can even look in the calculations. I love it. This is why the Carrion Golem was the last thing I was looking at in here. You could look here, reses. This is 27 from Purity of Elements, so this is capped without Purity of Elements, which is great, and they're at 78 because of the Elemental Army, which is pretty cool. And then the regen is 1302, and their life is 43,000, so maybe they could leech some nice health. So then I did a thing where to make Elemental Army expose the fire res, to make it have -10 to the elemental res of fire, because it's the highest damage taken by the enemy with Elemental Army. I added fire damage, because without the fire damage, the Carrion Golem does cold and not fire. Oh, this is because of the amulet, sidhebreath. So if I didn't have this amulet, they wouldn't deal any elemental. But either way, as soon as you add the last gem added fire damage, it gains 44% of physical as extra fire. GG, easy, and you get yourself 3,000 fire, which makes it expose the fire on the Elemental Army. So I added in the calculations on the config a -10 fire res because it's exposed. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's what I've put together. This shit's goddamn insane. I tested if you had a Victorious Charity and you were able to somehow get frenzy charges on them. The reason it gains damage is because I believe that the frenzy charges can give like 4% more damage each, so you can get like 12. So this is just saying 12% more damage. It's not that big of a deal. I don't think it'll be very consistent. I think it'd be really hard and awful, so I didn't put it in. I didn't include it. I'm not going to try it. And then the last thing, if you can afford, I didn't include this because I think it's going to be bad because I already looked it up. I'll show you. Rumi's Concoction. You can see the difference without it. 74 block, 42 spell block. With it, 75 block, 58 spell block, and you could raise the spell block to 10 instead of 8, so you'd get it up to 62 spell block, which is pretty fucking insane. But we proved that you don't need it, so you could just go with a regular granite flask, and then to add the extra icing on top, if you look up Arumi's Concoction, it was really expensive. Okay, so it started off at what is 15C, went up to 22, went up to 30, went up to 32, then it starts coming back down. And that's probably not even perfect. God damn, that's not happening. So we'll live with our life of the way we cap in our build is broken. So we use Glancing Blows, Mistress of Sacrifice, so our offerings affect us, but with 25% reduced effect on us. Then we use Cast when damage taken Bone Offering. So the Bone Offering gives minions 30% block attack and 29% block spell. So this would give us 75% of that, so like 22.5 block attack and like 22 spell block. And then it doubles, so it gives like 44 and 45. But I probably did the math a little bit wrong. It probably rounds down a little bit. And then the part that's not calculated, or you don't see, the other part is I have 2 wands or 2 weapons, and then it gives me like, is it 30% block for having dual wielding? Is that how dual wielding works? Dual wielding block PoE. Dual wield. 15% chance to block attack damage while dual wielding. Okay. There it is. So if we take off one, do we gain? Oh, it's 15, but it's doubled because of the that's why I thought it was 30. Okay. Yeah, it's doubled because of the glancing blows. There we go. Perfect video. That's fully complete. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you have a little bit better understanding of what you're going to be doing in the league. Start with my Minion Instability build, what items to be looking out for. Like I said again, just to run it through one more time, TLDR, if you've made it to this point but somehow don't know the order, it's a 6-link corrupted item, 6-link corrupted body armor, most likely first, because they're usually pretty cheap early and people don't understand what they have, and you're looking for exact colors and all that shit. So in this one, our colors when we get it going is like almost 6 blue, but then potentially is red, and so you'll almost need an int chestplate, maybe an int strength chestplate. And so that would be energy shield chestplate, but you would want an armor chestplate, but I don't think we'll have a choice, because trying to get a 5 blue or 6 blue astral plate is going to be fucking impossible, unless somebody doesn't know what they're selling and you get it for cheap. Either way, so 6-link rush first, and then it's probably these Earendel's Embraces, or the sidhebreath, or the alberons. With these, GG easy, the build is smooth sailing, and then you would prioritize, obviously throughout this, you're prioritizing getting your other items with reses to cap your reses, cap your chaos, and and maybe get some armor in the build. Either way, thank you guys for watching, thanks for hanging out, hope you guys enjoyed, hope this was helpful, hope this was informative. I take this opportunity to thank my patron and my YouTube members who financially support the channel. I can't do this without you guys. Thank you guys for all the support, and thank you to Arda, who joined the YouTube members today, and thank you guys for all the support. I can't do this without you guys, and thank you to anyone new who joins today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!